Hi, I'm Mark. This is my July review for Cancer Sun sign and Cancer rising. We start the month with Mars in your second house of finances, making a positive aspect to Chiron in the 10th house of career and destined path. So this is a time when you can really push forward. This is a time when you can set real high level goals that you can attain. You can look above and beyond what you would normally call your realm of experience, and you can really push forward and get on well with this aspect. Then on the 4th, there's a more difficult aspect to Chiron. This time it's the Sun in your first house making an aspect, and there could be something that comes up from the past to do with your career or your destined path or your public standing that is a wound or something that hasn't been resolved. Could be an issue with someone at work, and this will flare up again. It could cause a bit of distress, but you need to deal with it this time and put it to rest. On the 5th, Sun makes a positive aspect to Uranus in the 11th house. It'll be a good day to spend with friends, doing something different and exciting. Also, the unconscious is going to be very active because you have Mercury in the house of the unconscious making an aspect to Neptune, and also you have Venus making an aspect to the North Node, which is also in your 12th house of the unconscious. So it's a very active time. Now there could be some delusion with Neptune, or it could be a sense of spiritual side that you could develop and work with. Also, with the North Node, it could be something, flash of insight or a message that comes through from the unconscious that gives you a clue of what you should be doing next and which path you should be going on. Between the 6th and the 8th, Venus makes 3 aspects. The first one on the 6th is an opposition to Saturn. Now this is across your money houses, so this could be difficult. It could be some limitation or some restriction placed on you regarding finances on this day that you'll need to overcome. But then there's a much more harmonious aspect on the 7th, where Venus makes a trine aspect to Chiron. This is in your career house. There's benefits here with career and money, and the energy will be free flowing. So it's a good time to work on how you can get more money out of what you do. Then on the 8th, a square aspect between Venus and Uranus in that 11th house. So again, it's a good time to be with friends, it's a good time to socialise, and it's a good time to perhaps do something on a group basis rather than individually. On the 10th we have a new moon. This new moon's in your sign, Cancer, and this is in your first house. This is a moon for emotional clearing. This is a time to get rid of all that emotional baggage that's holding you back, because it's time to reinvent yourself with the moon in the first house. It's time to change something about yourself, maybe something you don't like, maybe change your habits or how you interact with people, or have a completely new look. This is what the new moon in the first house is all about, bringing forth change that will benefit you in some way. Now, those of you born between the 5th and 15th of July, or those of you with a rising sign or with any planets between 13 and 23 degrees, this is going to affect you really acutely. And this is a time also to look at things from a different perspective, from an intuitive perspective, because the new moon is about sowing seeds for the future, and see where you can link in with things, see where you can connect with things and sow those seeds so they will grow. On the 12th, Venus catches Mars, and there's a conjunction in Leo. So this is a very passionate conjunction. This is quite a fiery conjunction, but Venus catches Mars, so she will subdue him a little bit. So this is great for love relationships, or forming a new relationship. And for you Cancer, it's particularly good as well for finances, because this conjunction happens in your second house. This is a time when you can attract and put energy into generating more financial stability and income. The other aspect on the day is from Mercury, who moves into your first house. And this is always good because Mercury's been in your 12th house and has been retrograde in your 12th house. Now it moves into the first house, so everything comes out into the open. Communication will be much easier. And when Mercury moves into your sign, he also makes a positive aspect to Jupiter. Now this is good because this enlarges the mind and the scope of your mind as well. So it's a good time to learn new things or pick up a course or do some investigation into things. This is excellent time for business and for signing any contracts as well. On the 14th you could have a mystical spiritual experience in some way. The Sun makes a positive aspect to Neptune in your 9th house, so this could change your beliefs or have something to do with your philosophy of life, and it could change your religious views as well. Then on the 17th there's opposition between the Sun and Pluto. Now oppositions you always meet head on. So this is across your 1st and 7th house, so it could be your partner that you need to sit down and thrash things out, but it's good not to get too overbearing. Be humble and look at things and see where you can put things right. If it's an authority figure, then you need to do the same. Also with this aspect, things can suddenly break down. So if there's a need to replace things, it has to be done. It's no good patching things up because it won't do. If things break, you need to replace them. Also, this can be a little bit of a dangerous time, so don't go into any areas where there's a high crime rate. On the 18th, Jupiter makes a square aspect to the black moon Lilith and will enlarge her shadow side and give her more power. And this is good because she'll be transiting from the 11th into your 12th house in Gemini. While she's transiting the 12th house, you need to allow her to clear house and to get rid of things that are holding you back or blocking you or preventing you from doing your life's work. In Gemini, the shadow is about acceptance, so this is time to work with this shadow and to make it so that we live our own life without the need for acceptance or approval from other people. On the 19th, Mercury makes two aspects. The first is a square to Chiron in the 10th house. This is a good time to be empathetic and understanding with other people, especially people in authority. It might be that you need to listen to someone and let them tell you their story and what their wound or what their pain is. The other aspect is to Uranus in the 11th house. It's a good time to interact with friends and maybe look with friends or colleagues at new solutions to old problems. And it could also be that it's time to have a little bit of fun and excitement along the way. On the 22nd, the Sun leaves your sign and goes into Leo in your 2nd house, and the emphasis changes towards financials and the material side. The Sun makes a sextile to the black moon and shines a light, so you'll be able to see what needs throwing out and getting rid of. Also on the 22nd, Venus changes as well and moves into Virgo and makes an opposition to Jupiter, which also makes a square with the black moon. So temptation is around that day, so you just need to be careful not to overindulge or get tempted in things you might later regret. On the 24th there's a full moon. The full moon is in Aquarius at 1 degree, so it's a very powerful full moon. And on the same day Mercury makes an aspect to Neptune, so that adds extra sensitivity to an already very sensitive moon. Now, being in Aquarius is about being part of something bigger. It involves your local community or your environment, and you need to make connections with that. It's also in your 8th house, so there's balance needed. Give and take needs to be taken into consideration. Your needs or your security against the needs and security of other people as well. And finances are highlighted, so it could be that you need to take charge of someone else's finances, or you need to balance the books in some way. On the 25th, there's an opposition from Mercury to Pluto. This is across your 1st and 7th house, so it's a good time to investigate things, especially with your partner or within your relationship. Investigate things that have come up recently, because this aspect can be a sign of propaganda, and so you can't believe everything you hear or have read. So it's a good time to check things out. 28th, there's another opposition, this time between Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter's in that 9th house. It's a good time to broaden and expand your mind. It's a good time to learn new things. It's great for planning and for putting ideas into action. On the 29th, there's two challenging aspects. The first is Mars. He forms a T-square with Jupiter and the opposition, and then a square to the Black Manillas. So this will be very frustrating. This will be a day when you might think, oh, I just can't cope with this anymore, or I can't do this anymore. It's going to be a very frustrating day, but you need to try and temper that and concentrate on the empty space, which is your 6th house. So put your effort into daily routines, get tasks done, just make yourself busy so that you don't have to succumb to this negative energy. The other aspect is Venus. Venus makes a square to the North Node. So it's a time when you need to be open to divine guidance. And again, don't get too frustrated with things. Allow yourself to calm down and just open your mind to the intuitive side, or the messages that are coming through for you. There's a good end to the month with a positive aspect from the Sun to the Moon's North Node. This is a time to push yourself forward. This is a time to step up to the mark, so to speak. And this will be challenging, but it's time to take that challenge out and to realise your full potential. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this month's review. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a message, I'd be glad to hear from you.